And my pick for the overall winner of the season is... How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian Halligan, and this is my YouTube channel about biathlon. And in today's video, I have some huge news, so stick around because you're not going to want to miss this if you're a true biathlon fan. In today's video, I'm going to make my Crystal Globe predictions and try to predict who is going to win all of the individual Crystal Globes. Stick around in this video to see what the big surprise is going to be towards the end. But until then, we're going to start off with the Sprint Crystal Globe. And now there's 10 sprints this season, so this is going to have the biggest impact on the totality of the season. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Sebastian Samuelsson for the men and Anais Chevalier-Boucher for the women. And the reason I'm going with these two athletes is actually completely opposite for each athlete. Sebastian Samuelsson, I think, is a very consistent athlete. He's a very consistent shooter and consistently fast skier. And because there's so many sprints this season, I think he's going to have just enough consistency to take the overall. On the other hand, I think Chevalier-Boucher had a really good season this year on the skis, but her shooting was terrible. It dropped down pretty significantly. For sprints last year, she had a really good season, so I think if she can bump her shooting back up, then she is going to be in the fight for the overall for sure. For the individual Crystal Globe, this is going to be an interesting one because there's so much emphasis on the shooting. Obviously, with a miss in the shooting, you have a minute penalty as opposed to a penalty loop. Better shooters definitely have the advantage in this event. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Dorothea Vier and Martin Ponsaloma for the individual Crystal Globe. Doro, that's actually a pretty easy one. She split the Crystal Globe last year with Lisa Teresa Hauser, and overall, she's been one of the most consistent shooters on the World Cup circuit and among the fastest skiers, so she's just almost a shoo-in for this globe. Ponsaloma, on the other hand, I really like because on the skiing side, he was averaging about 10th fastest skiing for the individual races last year. The individual race is a little bit longer of an event, the 20K for the men. The fact that Ponsaloma was consistently a top 10 skier on the individual last year tells me he likes the longer race format, but his shooting wasn't very good last year. However, we have seen this summer in some of our roller ski races and early season races in Idre, he really shot above where he was last year. So if this is any indication of where he will be this year, my money is going to be on Ponsaloma to win the individual Crystal Globe. Now for the Pursuit Globe. And the Pursuit is a really interesting globe because it's really hard for someone to win the Pursuit Globe if they're not doing well in the Sprint Globe race, because obviously it's hard for someone to win a Pursuit race if they don't do well in the sprint. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Johannes Tingesbo and Tyrrell Eckhoff. These are both names that everybody knows and everybody thinks is going to be at the top of the results list anyway, but I just really like these two in this event because I do think they will be in the fight for the sprint. Obviously last year, Tyrrell Eckhoff was unbeatable in the sprint races. She just was lights out in the sprints and just gave her a huge advantage in the pursuits. Johannes Tingesbo, obviously an incredibly fast skier, and both of these athletes are just head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to skiing, and I think they just have the fight that it takes. The reason I'm not picking them for the sprint is because the sprint race being a 10K, just a little bit shorter, the penalty for a missed shot proportionally is just a little bit higher. So with a missed shot, they might not be able to ski off that penalty like they can in a 10K or 12.5K pursuit. So for that reason, I think they can fight through, have consistently high results in the pursuits, and win the Crystal Globe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'm gonna recommend that you do right now, and here's why. Over the last couple weeks, I've actually been chatting with Tyrrell Eckhoff. Yes, Norway's Tyrrell Eckhoff, the overall winner from the World Cup last year, and she's been very supportive of the YouTube channel and everything I've been doing here to promote biathlon online. So, as support for the channel, she has offered to send me a World Cup race bib to give away to one of my subscribers. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe because when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will be randomly selecting a subscriber to win the Tyrrell Eckhoff World Cup race bib. Again, the only way you can win this is be one of the first 1,000 subscribers. So hit subscribe down below now because once we are there, I'm picking a winner and someone's winning that bib. Finally, the mass start, and this is the most fun because anything can happen in the mass start. There's so much pressure. Everyone starts at the same time and you always know where you are. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Lisa Teresa Hauser and Johannes Dahle. And here are my reasons why. Lisa Teresa Hauser was on 2 out of the 5 podiums for the mass start last year, including a 22nd place and an 18th place in the races that she wasn't on the podium. And considering the fact that she had these 2 races that were in the high teens, low 20s, she was still able to place 6 overall in the mass start globe. So if she can bump these 2 results up to top 10, then I think she's going to be the winner for the Crystal Globe. For Johannes Dahle, I just love his last lap speed. Skiing minus 4.6% on the last lap compared to every other athlete. To put that in perspective, Johannes Tingesbo, who's consistently been the fastest skier overall last year, was only skiing 3.9% faster than everyone else on the last lap. So Johannes Dahle has a full 0.7% on Johannes Tingus Bö in the last lap. His shooting was a little bit low last year compared to Johannes Tingus, specifically in the standing. So if he can tighten that up and he has the same last lap attack, basically with those numbers, if he's within 30 seconds of anyone on the last lap, he's going to be able to hunt them down and beat them to the line. So for that reason, I have Johannes Dahle as being our Crystal Globe winner for the mass start. All right, and finally, my predictions for the overall Crystal Globe winner for the season. For the women, I'm going to go with Tyrell Eckhoff. I don't think there's anyone on the tracks that can beat her. She was just so dominant last year. Her prone has been really solid, so she's not losing races on the first or second shooting. And yeah, she had a huge improvement in her standing shooting, but she's already shown with some of the summer races this year that she's been able to continue her good standing shooting. Just overall, a really good athlete, and I don't think that there's anyone out there who will be more consistent than her. And my prediction for the overall men's title is going to go to Johannes Dahle. Yes, Johannes Dahle, not Johannes Tingus Bö. I'm very bullish on Johannes Dahle because he had the second fastest skiing time last year. He actually was shooting better prone than Johannes Tingus Bö, and really it's just about the standing shooting. I already talked about how his last lap speed is incredible, so if he can dial in that standing shooting, and I'm not saying he has to have a huge increase, I'm only talking about like 5%, and all of a sudden he is going to be right up there fighting with Johannes Tingus every single race. So we're going to see if he can do it. I will admit it's a little bit of a bet. There's nothing out there that tells me this is a sure thing, but I'm making the bet that he's going to improve his standing shooting this year and he is going to be the one to beat. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button down below and start the conversation. Who do you think is going to be the overall? Is it going to be Johannes Tingus Bö again? I didn't even mention Sturla Holm Laggrid. Where's he going to end up this year? Leave a comment down below as to who your favorites are for this season, and we will see what's going to happen. But until next time, we'll see ya.